hoping to get back thousands.
Honestly, it's kind of been a waiting game.
A family's plan to rebuild their barn is put on hold after their contractor goes radio silent.
This is not how you operate. It's not how you treat other human beings.
Tonight, Contact Denver 7 is digging into this Colorado business, finding out other customers have also been burned.
Anytime that we hear someone call and they mention this company, we already know the story.
Now, those impacted are calling for state leaders to step in.
I think the Attorney General's office is going to have to get involved further than they already have.
And that is where we start tonight. A caution about a Colorado contractor taking money and yet failing to do the work they were hired for.
Now, Contact Denver 7 CB Cotton spent the past month looking into this business and found a trail of broken dreams, broken promises, and Coloradans out lots and lots of money.
A business doesn't generally do that unless you're aching for that money.
Erin Christine has learned a lot about business recently. Lessons learned when she hired a general contractor to rebuild her barn. What she got, she says, is a whole lot of heartache.
It's really funny because donkeys are often used as therapy animals, to where I think that they're like, oh, mom's upset. They're like, let's all do some therapy with her.
Erin Christine says her problem started when a fire destroyed the barn she uses for her remodeling business. She hired this company, Steel Building Manufacturing LLC, based in Franktown, to rebuild it. We found the business on the Secretary of State's website, registered to a Donald Steinke.
I'm hopeful that he's going to do the right thing, but looking at his track record and his history, I absolutely severely doubt that.
Christine says in December she paid him $17,000 as a deposit, but she says several months later, in June, no work had been done. All the while, she says Steinke told her the steel was on back order. Her husband decided to take matters into his own hands.
It ultimately came down to my husband making a phone call to the actual steel company.
Christine says the steel manufacturer Heritage Building Systems told her they weren't having supply issues. Their issue, she says, was with Steinke, who wasn't answering their emails and phone calls. Frustrated, Christine decided to cancel the project altogether. She says Heritage committed to refunding $13,000, but had to send it to Steinke since they contracted with him and he's the one who paid them.
So it was mailed out June 22nd. His response on July 7th was, my bank put a hold on it. You'll get your money when I have it.
With the problems continuing, Christine reached out to Heritage, and she says they sent her this record of the process check, showing that it had been cleared.
This is not how you operate. It's not how you treat other human beings.
We did some digging and discovered several other people feel Steinke didn't treat them well either. Take a look. There are more than a dozen civil complaints filed against Steinke from Delta County to Douglas, Elbert, El Paso, Jefferson, and more. They date back to 2000.
We probably get calls on this company somewhere between 3 to 6 times a year.
Todd Collins, an Elizabeth-based attorney, says he's represented several clients in their civil suits against steel building manufacturing. Their stories sound a lot like Christine's.
The story is, I placed a deposit with this company for a steel building, and I can't get this guy to call me back. And I've tried to cancel my contract, and he won't give me my money back.
Collins filed this suit against the business last fall. He says his client got back some of the money he was owed, but it wasn't until police got involved.
And it seems to be the pattern. If you contact law enforcement, and if law enforcement gets involved, you get your deposit back. Or if you file a case, you get your deposit back.
But here's the catch. Collins says many who've been burned can no longer afford legal fees.
Probably 90% of these cases don't proceed because of lack of funding for a legal battle.
Collins says people have lost money and dreams after getting wrapped up with Steinke.
Our clients were forced to sell the land that they were going to build their new house on. I think the Attorney General's office is going to have to get involved further than they already have.
We emailed and called Steinke looking for answers. He called us back and said Christine will get her refund by September 12th. Remember, the check Heritage Building Systems sent him cleared in early July.
It's unfortunately, I guess, part of life and lessons that you learn.
CB Cotton, Denver 7.
And if you ever have a story you want Contact Denver 7 to investigate, don't hesitate to call the number on your screen, or you can email contact7@thedenverchannel.com.
4 men are now in custody for the death of a Denver woman killed last month by a stray bullet outside of her apartment complex. Nura Hala, Lu Ray, Pa Ray, and Swabe each face numerous charges in the killing of Ma Kang, including first-degree murder. Investigators say they were firing at a vehicle in New Freedom Park the night of July 15th And one of those bullets hit Kang as she and her family were unloading a car nearby. And today, we spoke with Hope Communities. That's where Kang lived, and they remembered her as a wonderful person who cared about her community.
Ma was a leader. She was a friend. She was a devoted mother. She was a volunteer. She really gave herself 100% to the community.
Investigators believe a fifth person may have been involved in the shooting, and they're asking anyone with information to please come forward.
The case against Mesa County Clerk Tina Peters is heading to its next phase. Peters is accused of tampering with that county's elections equipment. And today, the Mesa County District Attorney says a joint investigation with the Attorney General has concluded, and they will ask the court to set a trial date at Peters' next appearance, September 7th. And we have some breaking news tonight. The Justice Department says efforts were likely taken to obstruct the investigation into classified documents found at former President Trump's South Florida estate. Now, this is in response to Trump's request for a special master to review those documents seized from Mar-a-Lago. And in its filing, the Justice Department said FBI agents, quote, uncovered multiple sources of evidence indicating Trump had failed to fully comply with a subpoena to turn over the classified records, and that additional classified documents remained at his estate. So right now, this is just breaking now. Trump has until tomorrow evening to file his own response to the Justice Department.
President Biden is vowing to build on new gun safety laws, and today he told Pennsylvania voters that he will bring back the federal assault weapons ban if Democrats hold Congress in the midterm elections.
I'm determined to ban assault weapons in this country. Determined. It's not about taking away anybody's guns. In fact, we should be treating responsible gun owners as examples how every gun owner should behave.
The push to bring back the ban is part of his new Safer America plan. The $37 billion proposal would increase the number of police officers in the country, crack down on violent crime, and invest in services that address the root causes of crime.
The city of Boulder is voluntarily pausing enforcement of its bans on assault weapons in large capacity magazines. The city passed those bans in June following the mass shootings in Uvalde, Texas and Buffalo, New York. Now, this comes as temporary restraining orders are issued against Superior and Boulder County. The city of Boulder and Louisville are also being sued. So now all four have decided to work together on a coordinated legal strategy, including consolidating cases against each city into one lawsuit. Rocky Mountain Gun Owners is filing lawsuits against cities enacting new gun laws, and the group tells Denver 7 this approach could actually save both sides money.
It helps both sides of not wasting resources, of going out and suing, every town and having to pay for every lawsuit. Now we have one cohesive lawsuit.
Now, Boulder, Superior, Louisville, and others are coming up with these new rules after Colorado lawmakers passed a preemption law last year. It allows localities to come up with stricter gun laws than the state, but not looser ones.
So now the town of Lyons is trying its hand at gun reform, and Megan Lopez tonight shows us how its proposed ordinance is different than the others.
Not far off the beaten path from Boulder, there's a Colorado town that's a little less known, but just as beautiful.
Lyons is a small town and it's a big family.
Only 2,000 people or so call Lyons home, but they welcome just about anyone.
It's a wonderful place to visit, and we really love welcoming visitors.
Soon though, not someone, but something might not be as welcome.
We want to keep our town safe, first and foremost.
That's Holly Rogan, the mayor of Lyons. After cities like Boulder, Louisville, and Superior enacted gun restrictions of their own, Lyons is now considering a proposal to ban firearms in some places. First, open carry would be prohibited in public spaces, but it would be allowed in private businesses, and the guns would be allowed in people's cars and homes.
It will not change anything for people who have a concealed carry permit.
Second, the town would ban the sale of firearms and ammunition in the downtown commercial district.
They're right for the town of Lyons. I think the recent school shootings has just made everybody want to be as safe as possible.
Lyons is going for a much more limited approach.
DU adjunct law professor David Kopel says because the town's proposal is narrower than Boulder, Superior, or Louisville, big parts of it could be upheld in a legal challenge, like limiting open carry.
That's plainly constitutional, I think, because they don't try to prohibit licensed concealed carry.
However, he says the town could run into trouble for trying to limit where guns could be sold.
It seems hard to justify constitutionally banning a particular type of store that sells constitutionally protected items. You couldn't ban bookstores in Lyons, you couldn't ban stores that sell religious items. The Constitution treats them all equally.
Rocky Mountain Gun Owners is behind the lawsuits in other cities. They say they're reviewing the Lyons proposal.
But it is significantly different. Our attorneys are looking that over. If it makes sense to sue them, we will.
Taylor Rhodes says it doesn't matter how small the town is. He wants to protect Second Amendment rights.
I've been talking to members in Lyons of what they can do to fight back against the gun control efforts.
So soon, this tiny town could be in for a big fight, just like its neighbors. Megan Lopez, Denver 7.
And the town has a second reading set for next Tuesday, and the public will have a chance to weigh in then.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi will be in Colorado tomorrow. She's going to join Congressman Joe Neguse for a series of events, including a tour of the National Center for Atmospheric Research in Boulder. She'll also take part in a roundtable discussion on the recently passed Inflation Reduction Act.
And the number one issue for Latino voters right now is inflation. This according to a new poll just released today involving nearly 3,000 eligible Latino voters, some of them in Colorado. So after inflation, we're talking crime, jobs, health care, and abortion rights as top issues for Latinos.
Neither party should take comfort from the poll results. For Democrats who control the White House and Congress, that Latinos are overwhelmingly concerned about inflation in the economy is a warning, because people associate that with the party in power. Republicans, similarly, should be alarmed that continued GOP silence or endorsement of white supremacy is a big issue.
Now, this poll was conducted as part of a multi-state partnership between the two organizations, Unidos US and Mi Familia Vota. They also found 8 out of 10 Latinos in the U.S. are U.S. citizens.
Kept off the gridiron.
I do feel like I'm getting treated unfairly.
Why a high school football player says he's not allowed to play for his team.
Plus, roster cutdown day in the NFL. Who's staying and who's saying goodbye to the Broncos?
90s again today. I'll let you know if this hot streak is going to last all the way through the holiday weekend.